Well, hello there. It's Alex from Who Target Podcast. Welcome. Come and enjoy. Well, as I said, I thought this would happen. I rewatched the episode at 6:50, and it just had more questions than I had in the first place. And I cannot believe that I missed, because I was sort of taking photos of the Doctor Who vinyl at the time, one of the main sort of questions of the episode. And I think there's quite a few questions to be we're not going to get answered in probably to the end of the season, basically. I might get drip fed some of them. For starters, how does Belinda know the word TARDIS but doesn't know how it works, basically? That was one thing that really interesting. He said, "Oh, it's your TARDIS," when they brought the blue box over. And I don't know if he'd actually mentioned the whole word or what it was. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. How does she know? Sorry, you might hear a notification my iPad is going off in the background. So how does she know about TARDISes? That's a very interesting question, I wondered. Because she didn't know, the fact it was bigger on the inside. She was really surprised by the whole, it's bigger on the inside than the outside. So that's one thing I really wanted to know about. What does she know? I don't think she's telling the Doctor everything. That was the first thing. I wonder, there's a question I'm putting to people. Did people think this episode was very much like Smith and Jones? I thought the way the first bits were shot, where the hospital and where the Doctor's TARDIS was set up against outside the hospital, it reminded me so much of the first Martha episode. Is it Smith and Jones, the first Martha episode with David Tennant? Let me know in the comments if you think it's basically a copy of that. So I thought that first bit there was a bit of a copy. My second question's a bit more of a fun question. Where can you get those vacuum cleaners? Well, they were so cute and quite funny. The floor cleaners, what eventually clean up. Sorry, spoiler coming at AI, where it's actually Alan, her partner, and that whole sort of trying to take over the world. Sorry, my iPad is going off for some reason. Sorry, don't know why you can hear that in the background. Sorry, somebody's messaging me. Sorry about that. Sorry, you might hear a message in a minute. Sorry. Go away. Sorry. My iPad is talking in the background. Anyway, where do you get one of those robot vacuum cleaners from? That's what I know. The ones that sort of clean the shoes and give it all a bit. I'd like one of those. They found quite cool because they were talking a lot. I like the way they were quite cute. The third question is it all the Doctor's fault, basically? Is it going to be found it's all the Doctor's fault? There's this time, as you know, there's a time window, there's a time schism that Belinda gets sort of swept up into to get to the robot world, and she somehow, with Alan and her, manages to get the Doctor to take it all in, and it's like being hit by a time bullet, that's how he describes it. But is it because he's done that? That's why the whole Earth around them is affected, basically. And why is that? Why is it the Doctor's fault? I'm hoping because it's the Doctor's fault, he's really going to build himself up into a state of, it's my fault, basically, and how can I fix it, basically. That's what I'm wondering there. We've done three questions. I think there was about 5 questions I had from this episode. Do you lot think it looks beautiful? I think it looked beautiful in some landscape shots of the robots. And I think the robots were quite funny. And as Stephen Moffat was saying this morning on Today, or maybe 4 this morning, he was basically saying, wow, how good were the robots look? And they did. I quite thought they sort of very bulky, sort of big, sort of shiny, and had the sort of emoji cute faces. So they sort of had that emoji cuteness about them, but were quite deadly as well. And I think the biggest question is, what the hell is Mrs. Flood doing in this episode? She's sort of doing her normal wink. It's the great Anita Dodson doing her sort of wink to the camera and telling us stuff. But is she somehow related to this whole time experiment, what's going on, the Earth being exploded? What is the importance of the end of May? I think it's May the 24th is the day what they can't get back to, and what the calendar says on that calendar at the end. And has her event, or what she's done, blown up the Earth? Is she the Rani? Is she doing... Sorry, my iPad is going off again. I apologise for this. But I haven't looked at it, sorry. So is Mrs. Flood the Rani? Is she a Time Lord, or is she a god? Because I reckon she's blown up the Earth somehow, and she's managed to do that by making the Doctor do that whole time, but where he takes in all the energy and splits it out. I think there's a bigger game going on with Mrs. Flood, basically, the great Anita Dobson. So, yeah, that's my feelings on 5 questions what needed weren't answered, what needed asking about this episode. It took a second watch because once I knew the pacing, because it is very fast on our first watch, I really enjoyed it much better on the second watch. I think, personally, if you put this episode up against the first time you meet Ruby in the church on Ruby Road, I think the interaction and the writing is 100 times better. Belinda, I really love Ruby. I'm not saying I don't like Ruby because I do love Ruby. I look forward to seeing Melissa Gibson back as Ruby later in the season. But I really want more with Belinda. I think she's great. He's sassy. He's up front. He doesn't allow the Doctor to be his normally, whoa, look at me, I'm great, I'm the Doctor, come on the adventure with me. She just wants to go home, and that's her main agenda at the moment. I think by the looks of it, she can't get home because the TARDIS doesn't want to take her home. And next week we'll have her on our first adventure, and we're going to get to America, and we're going to meet Mr. Ring Dinger Dinger Man. Is he a god? Is he part of the Pantheon? We'll find out. There's so many questions at the moment, and there's so no answers. You know, Russell is really giving us lots of questions. He's great. I love that, and I think we're in for a real romp. And I really, really pray all the rumours about it being cancelled, hiatus, are all little media tricks to get people more interested in watching it. And I'd love to know how the ratings did. I still need to watch Doctor Who Unleashed. I haven't watched that yet. I will be watching that in a bit. And then I might start watching Black Mirror. Do you want videos on Black Mirror Season 7? Let me know in the comments on here, on Facebook, on Twitter. It's all the same. It's all under the same name. If you're not following, please subscribe on the Twitter, on the Facebook. It's Who Target Podcast. So thanks for listening. Bye.